भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
He comes from a lineage of great sages, yogis, and saints from India. He began his spiritual journey at the age of 7 and was fully realized by the age of 14. During this time, he delved into different practices and acquired mastery over Tantra, Mantra, Yantra, Aghori practices, and Yaksha sadhana. He was a siddha and many masters, saints, and sages used to visit him in solitude to gain wisdom and guidance from him since the tender age. Although he has been helping humanity since childhood, he never disclosed this part of him to the world, and only the advanced yogis and masters were aware of his divine presence. Only in the last 2 years he chose few people from the world and started guiding them in their spiritual paths, and those who have been closely associated with him have witnessed many miracles in his presence. Despite being a family person, he is a yogi and intends to help people entangled in this world achieve Jivan Mukti, liberation while being alive. He is truly in the world but not of the world, and if you really want to understand him, look him beyond his physical appearance and just sit with him and you will never be the same again. In his presence you will transcend your body and mind and experience the state of Sat, absolute truth, Chit, pure consciousness, Ananda, eternal bliss. Let us fold our hands in front of his divinity and with a heart filled with gratitude and love welcome our spiritual guru, the realized soul, and our enlightened master, Guru Meenakshi Mishra.
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णावपूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः अहं ब्रह्मास्मि. Good morning, everyone, and good evening for people, those who have joined from other parts. स्वागत है आपका to a early morning Q&A session. So this is something unique that Haribhai has designed, I believe. But still, he must have done something good, whatever he has planned. So Kamlender ji has already raised his hand. So let's hit it. And it being a working day, so we will complete fast. Kids have to go to school. People have to go to offices.
Yes, Kamlandaji, please unmute yourself.
प्रणाम गुरुदेव।
Pranam. How are you now?
अभी तो काफी प्रॉब्लम है बैठने में, लेकिन धीरे धीरे रिकवर हो रहा है।
Okay.
अच्छा, अभी क्योंकि मेरे को काफी समय मिल गया तो मैंने काफी टाइम से मैं वो देख रहा था, देवों के देव महादेव।
Okay.
ज्ञान प्राप्त हो रहा है उससे। अब मेरे को उसके अंदर से सिर्फ एक चीज जाननी थी कि ये शरीर रूपी ब्रह्मांड में इंद्र कहाँ है? जैसे आपने सती बता दिया, दक्ष बता दिया, इंद्र कहाँ है? इंद्र का एक कैरेक्टर ऐसा है जो सब कुछ बिगाड़ देता है, वो जानना है।
Is more dangerous than Narad, na?
Yes.
Okay. But one way of looking at Indra is one character that is being displayed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is something different. It is Indra or Indriya. What is that? आपके जो पंच इंद्रियां हैं या पांच कर्म इंद्रियां हैं या पांच ज्ञान इंद्रियां हैं, वही तो इंद्र है.
Okay.
And can you see all that you are pulled out is because of that. आपके इंद्रिय ही आपको खींच के चले जाते हैं. They take you around everywhere. You are sitting here, but you suddenly have a urge. Oh, I should see this. I should hear that. I should taste this. And it hijacks you. And you see, it is always looking forward to having pleasure and happiness. And if you look at the description of heaven, what it all depicts, तो क्या सब वर्णन करता है? वही सब वर्णन करता है. Very good things to see, great food to eat, people dancing around. Right? So आपके जो इंद्र है, आपकी इंद्रियां जो कहा जाता है, इसका नाम भी उसीलिए वैसा ही रखा गया. Because they are always outward, they are always seeking pleasure from outward, not within. See, despite sitting on the throne, is he happy? He's not.
No.
He's always fearful. And look at your indriyas then. You remember I told about like happiness and bliss. There are two different things.
Absolutely.
So Indra kya hota hai? It always seeks for happiness, not bliss. And that's why it is always worried about somebody will take my throne, somebody it will take. Why? Because he thinks like, if I'm not going to get another chocolate, what will happen? If somebody eats it up, what happens? If somebody doesn't give it to me, what happens? So yahi hai. However, there is another way of looking at Indra also from Vedic point. It's not that he's all bad and all that thing. If it was so, if he was all so bad, अगर इतना बुरा था, उसको राजा क्यों बनाया जाता है?
Absolutely.
right? So there are certain good qualities in him which is not generally depicted. I just think of this: if somebody creates another serial on Indra, he might do a better one. So then Indra becomes your hero. Because every deity, what do they depict? I believe like all the deities that you see, they are depicting you. वो आपके अंदर से ही लिए गए qualities हैं. These are your qualities that have been taken and a image has been created.
Absolutely.
So that you realize that if you do that way, if you are only outward seeking all your happiness, you will always be fearful and you will always lose. Despite sitting on the throne, you will not be happy. So that's what it depicts. You will have like, okay, you will see, you will go feel, you will, but all temporary. So what do they say? It doesn't matter whether you become the king of gods. You should become the god of gods.
Absolutely.
इसलिए सीरियल का नाम क्या रखे? देवों के देव महादेव.
बिल्कुल.
सो आप चाहे तो इंद्र बन सकते हो या देवों के देव देवता बन सकते हो, जो कि स्वयं महादेव है. सो इट्स अ पर्सनल चॉइस. एवरीथिंग इज गिवन. यू सी, इट जस्ट लाइक ए फ्यूल, इट डजंट डिफरेंशिएट्स. आप जो चूज करते हो आपको बन सकते हो. वो कहते हैं आप इंद्र भी बन सकते हो. सो वॉट एवर यू चूज. सो आपके इंद्रिया वही है. However, it also plays a major role when I will be talking about the chakras. 27 चक्र का जो व्याख्या होगी उसमें सारे देवताओं का व्याख्या है, where they are situated in the body.
Okay.
But you know there is one name called as रावण का जो बेटा था उसका नाम इंद्रजीत था.
बिल्कुल.
Right? What does that mean? Indrajit means who has brought all the indriyas into his control, who has mastered that. And he becomes Indrajit in that space. Okay. So आपके इंद्रिय जो हैं वही इंद्र को डिपिक्ट करते हैं. और वही देखिए, they are ruling your body, they are ruling your mind, everything. So that's why they are the kings. Up until you act upon them. मतलब वो त्रिदेव में से अगर जब तक उसके ऊपर ना आए. And then और आपने okay, so there is another topic for another day. Because राम के पिता कौन थे? दशरथ. हाँ. सो आप भी दशरथ हो. You also have दशरथ मतलब 10 chariots. Yes. What was the work of chariots? The chariots' work was to take you from one place to another, to commute. एक जगह से दूसरी जगह ले जाता था आपको. उसी भांति आपके पास 5 कर्मेंद्रियां हैं, 5 ज्ञानेंद्रियां हैं. They are also 10 chariots that take you, make you experience or commute. That's why आपको भी दशरथ कहा जा सकता है. But the problem is, Dashrath had a son called as Ram. However, despite having a son like Ram, he was not happy. Yes or no? So it is not about being Dashrath, but making that Ram awake within you. अगर आप दशरथ हो तो राम आपके अंदर होगा. So that's where we should be working on, and that is where we are working on actually. तो इंद्र आपके इंद्रियों में के बसीभूत है और उसकी बहुत सारे व्याख्याएं की जा सकती है कमलेंद्र जी. Many ways of looking at that. Indra is not just one character. It is multifaceted. One way it is a great गॉड. क्योंकि वैदिक रिलीजन में अगर आप देखा जाए इंद्र की स्थान बहुत ऊंचा है. बट as they are depicted in the serials, we characterize them as good, bad. But Kamlendra ji, it's not about becoming Indra. हम में से किसी को इंद्र नहीं बनना है. इंद्रजीत बनना है बेटर. बाकी कोई भी देवता बन जाओ, इंद्र नहीं बनना. ओके. So do you want further clarification or is it okay for you? Okay.
एक और गुरुदेव, एक और क्वेश्चन है।
हाँ पूछिए।
ये जैसे डिपिक्ट किया गया है उसमें शुरुआत के टाइम में वैष्णव और शिव के पूजक जो हैं उनके बीच में एक तरीके से मतलब विरोधाभास रहता है, एक लड़ाई सी रहती है बेसिकली। मेरे ख्याल से अभी के समय में भी ऐसा ही है कि जो वैष्णव हैं और जो शिव के पूजक हैं उनके बीच में एक वो रहता है, क्योंकि 3 हिस्सों में अभी बटा हुआ है, शक्ति पूजक हैं या शिव पूजक हैं या वो है
वैष्णव है।
तो ये रीजन क्या है कि वैष्णव, जबकि मालूम सबको यही है कि भाई अल्टीमेटली देयर इज वन, फिर भी ये वैष्णव और उनके बीच में झगड़ा किस चीज का है?
Okay. And that's where you have to realize. You see, until you follow a religion, you fight. The day you become spiritual, you don't. What is religion? Religion says this is one God, that is another God. What the spirituality says, it's all one. So when you dive into deep into that, if you say even in religion that is spoken, but nobody understands that part. You are standing at one place and you say, okay, this is my God. That means this is the best. So can you see, okay, let me tell you a story then that will finalize everything. सारे चीजों का उत्तर मिल जाएगा उसमें. So one day one person goes to Gautam Buddha and says, is there a God? Bhagwan hai kya? And Gautam Buddha did not answer him. He ignored. He ignored and walked away. चला जाता है, लेकिन the person is also very reluctant that he is not going to give up so easily. So he again appears in the evening, goes to Gautam Buddha. You didn't answer my question in the morning. You must have been busy. So can you tell me now whether there is God or not? Gautam Buddha said, don't ask me such silly questions. If there is something good to be asked, ask me. He said, no, this is very important for me. ये मेरे लिए बहुत ही जानने वाली बात है. So Gautam Buddha said, okay, first tell me, are you an atheist? Do you believe in God? Or you don't believe in God? So the person says, I believe in God. Then Buddha says, then why are you asking this question to me? If you believe, you should not be asking. If you are asking, that means you are not believing. तुम्हें अगर पता है भगवान है, मानते हो, तो ये पूछने की बात नहीं है. But the problem is, you know why you are asking me? Because you have not experienced it. उसने कहा कि भगवान के बारे में तुम्हें किसने बताया? From where did you learn about God? Who told you that there is a God? Then he said, since childhood, I heard from my parents, then people talked about it, then great people said it is there. He said, they said it because they experienced it. Have you? Or else, throughout your life, today you are sitting with me asking this question. Tomorrow you will go to some other person, you will ask the same question. Because you are not searching God, you are searching a validation for your thing that you are believing in. You are just asking for a validation for your belief. Because belief is something different and knowing and being are different things. So don't ask me such questions. But yes, I will not tell you whether there is a God or not. But I can show you a path through which you can find it for your own self. तो इसी भांति जब भी कोई भगवान के बारे में पूछता है तो इसका मतलब उसे डाउट है. People are searching God because they doubt God. If it is there, it is. और एक बार another story related to that. So let me close it down. So another thing happened is one morning Gautam Buddha was sitting और प्रवचन चल रहा था. one person of the village came and said, today you don't have to tell me all stories or anything. You just have to say me yes or no. Some people come to your life also. They say, I don't want any elaboration, nothing. Say only yes or no. Are you going or not? So that kind of thing. So he asked, like Gautam Buddha said, okay, what's your question? Is there a God? Gautam Buddha said, yes. And then, yeah, Paravaji, I'm kind of that only. Yes or yes. I don't give options. So everybody was happy. Gautam Buddha has finally accepted there is God. And if Gautam Buddha said means there is no other question. Then they said, whoa, this is a great day of celebration when Buddha declared there is a God. And they started having merrymaking and cooked food and everything and all the stuff. The feast was ready. By the time of the evening, everybody was happy, dancing. That very moment, another fellow from another village came with the same question. He said, Gautam Buddha said, yes. Now I have a question, but you have to only answer in yes or no. Gautam Buddha said, what's the question? Is there a God? What do you think he will say? He said, no. And the moment he said no, all the people, those who were dancing out there, merry-making, about to go into the feast and relish it, they said, what happened now? Devastated. And you know, some people always think like he's contradicting his words. He must have lost it somewhere. No, you are lost in your thoughts. He is not lost. What he is doing, he knows what he is doing. Then nobody dared to go and even ask. Anand was the only fellow who could go and ask. So Anand went to him and asked, Buddha, what is going on? I think you gave a wrong statement. Just like we said, no, politically wrong statements. You might have told it wrongly. Do you want? Gautam Buddha said, no, I have told what I have to say. See, at times, Anand goes and tells Gautam Buddha that he is wrong. कभी-कभी हो जाता है नहीं? But then Anand said, but then why did you answer twice? You said yes in the morning and no right now. Then Gautam Buddha said, there is a reason behind saying that. In the early morning, the person who came, he believed in God. And when I said yes, he got a strong stamping on himself that yes, there is God. And now he will never ask this question to anyone. And then Anand said, then what about this fellow? He said he doesn't believe in God. And that's why I said there is no God. So Anand said, so you, just to please him, you said that? He said, no, I didn't said that to please him. See, a person who doesn't believe in God always tries to prove that there is no God. And if I would have said there is a God, he would have done a lot of logical questioning with me. But I said there is no God. But now in order to prove me wrong, he will go and search God and come to me and said, you were wrong, God is there. You got it? क्योंकि उसको भगवान के ऊपर भरोसा नहीं है, मैंने उससे कहा भगवान नहीं है, लेकिन उसके आदत के कारण, बिकॉज ऑफ हिज हैबिट ऑफ डूइंग लॉजिकल थिंकिंग फॉर एवरीथिंग, हर चीज के लिए तर्क करता है वो, अब जाके तर्क करेगा, ढूंढेगा, he will go and search for his own way and now return back and say you were wrong and still I will be right. So that's the way. You never know the ways of how a teaching comes to you. So the only thing that you are left out with is trust for some time and wait for the result to show up. And that's where everything happens. Right. So Kamlenji, thank you. I believe I answered your questions, and 2 stories, a good start for the morning. Thank you, Kamlenji.
Thank you, Kamlenji. Revati, please unmute yourself.
Pranam Mahadev.
Pranam. So congratulations for your youngest son.
Thank you. All your blessings.
So what he achieved, can you tell that once?
He topped the snooker championship. So he's young. He's 26, and he's done that. So all your blessings. So very grateful for that.
Okay, thank you. We believe like it's your blessing on your son.
Parents, yes. But yes, I needed your blessings also, and he's got it. So, okay, I have a question. Ever since I've got that, I told you last Saturday I went and bought that temple. I took your permission and I got my new temple. I've got this immense desire after I've got the temple to get new. I want to get small murtis for the temple. Can I get like that?
Why not? The gods are there. देखो, कोई गरीब भूखा ना रह जाए संसार में, इसलिए भगवान बिक जाता है बाजार में. Realize that why he is created not by people of great stature, but by the people of the commoner, because God can be built by the common people.
So I can, right? I wanted
You
to.
can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've seen so many small brass murtis, which are there, and I've been wanting to get.
So you are searching for cute gods, right?
No, not all gods are cute. So everything is lovely. So it's just that I think they look beautiful in my temple, and I want to worship them.
So you want a god for the temple, or you want a beautiful article for the temple to look good?
You always catch me like that, no?
So that's where you should catch yourself. I should not be catching you. Why do you need that small statues? You should ask this question. You see, at times our own desires camouflage as spirituality. So you catch hold of yourself. Nothing wrong in that. See, everything is good in this play of spirituality. You say, oh no, I like the way the small little Krishna looks, so I will just bring it so it also looks good there and it also feels good within. No problem. But catch hold of yourself in those moments.
So because the more I look at the temple now, I feel
it looks empty, na?
I sent you pictures, no?
Yeah, it looks empty.
No, it's not looking empty. I have a few gods, but I just feel a little alone. I'll feel happier, and so I'm going to do it. But I just wanted to ask you whether I can or I cannot.
Absolutely, you can. And at the same time, when we are looking at a temple and it looks empty, or it looks like there is a little more space for a few more, I say, look at yourself. There is still a space for a little more.
Thank you.
Temple should be filled.
Thank you.
Thank you, Revati. So
thank you, Revati. Rani, please unmute yourself.
So why she's sitting behind the grasses, I don't know.
There's a bit of noise in the background.
Okay.
I just want to comment on what you were saying about the Buddha and people asking questions. Yeah. Not like I'm a Buddha or anything, but many years ago, I used to do psychic readings.
Okay.
I did them with tarot, but I didn't do the traditional tarot. I did a biblical tarot, and I did a tarot that was from Native American medicine. So they were just basically pictures. You would take a picture, and from that picture, I would look at it, it would tell me something.
Yeah.
I would get something from the person coming through the cards that I was picking. And what was very interesting, I found that the questions that people asked, they always knew the answer. They were always confirmation. And so that's all I wanted to say. It's just such a true thing you were saying, that even doing something like that, I learned that, and I was, from about 17, 18, 19, 20 to about 25, I did that as a part-time gig. I did it online, I did it on phones, and I did it in restaurants. It was a really kind of a fun job because sometimes you were helping people to make a decision that they knew, but they just needed somebody to say, hey, yeah, you know what? That sounds like that's where you need to go. And it was kind of the way I did it, was healing for people. It was really kind of neat. But I imagine that there's a lot of people that use that stuff in a not so positive way.
Yeah. So still,
But anyhow, like
still
everything in life, we use it for good or for bad, depending on our heart and our mind.
yes, absolutely. So well said.
Yeah. Thank you. That's all I had to say.
Okay.
And
So thank you, Rani, for sharing. You always come up with your great experiences of the past.
Yeah, life
So
is
thank you.
life is interesting. It's always teaching us.
If you learn, you are alive. Thank you.
Thank you, Rani.
So Haribhai, I think like people want to go home early, and so there are no hands. So if there are no hands, we can close down the Q&A session. And I believe, so we still have another 20 minutes to go. We have just completed 20 minutes. Okay.
Yes, Manish, there is one more hand. Yeah, Janesh ji, please unmute yourself.
So Janesh ji, what's your question?
गुरुजी क्वेश्चन से ज्यादा क्या बोल सकता हूँ मैं, जैसा आपने बताया था कि जब सोल जाता है, so there are no bhavnas, and then he decides that these are the things which I need to experience, and again he comes back to experience. Now when he comes back, he has forgotten everything that what he has decided, and he chooses, and then in that process, he acquires sometime few other experiences which he has not designed for, and sometimes he absolutely doesn't get those experiences for which he has decided for. So is there a way for a soul while living here to, जैसा हमने प्रार्थना इजाद की है, to let go of an experience so that he can decide another experience as a set of an agenda?
It's absolutely possible. So shall I give you a way out of it?
No, I just wanted to understand the process. That's it. I mean,
Okay, I'll give you the simplest process. The simplest one. So when you are in this body, you rightly said, like you choose, you forget. क्योंकि आप जब तक भूलोगे नहीं, तब तक आप मजा नहीं ले सकते. What is life? Just like you eat chili, you eat sweets. आपको मजा आता है, नहीं तो मिर्ची क्यों खाते हो आप? Right? So you want to experience that spice within you. So similarly, until you forget that, you cannot take the experience of life. So you forget that, just like we always keep on saying, you go to a movie, until you forget that you are watching a movie, you cannot enjoy the movie. It will always be a reel rolling and a light and music going on the screen. So you tend to forget that. So when you are saying, like, if it has decided and now it is going through all these experiences, how to realize that part, and even despite being in this space, how can it be free from everything yet not stained? And what, Janesh?
Not exactly, Guruji.
Okay, please elaborate. That's why I'll give you the answer for that also.
Suppose now there is an experience.
Okay.
That, yes, I want to experience a good parent.
Okay.
I have experienced good parents. Then I see that there is a possibility for me to experience now a different type of relationship with a different set. Now I am set here in that particular frame,
Okay.
and it is not correct to change the person.
Okay.
Because then it is going to be a hastakship. So it is going to be an abuse of power.
Absolutely.
If I have a power. If I have a power.
Yes.
So I'm not talking about those kind of experiences.
Okay.
I'm talking about परिस्थिति based experiences. Like say, I have decided कि जब मैं नीचे आऊँगा, I will go and stay in this atmosphere with this particular type of thing, and I will experience. जैसा कि जो बंदा लक्षद्वीप में पैदा हो गया, वो लक्षद्वीप में ही पूरा जिंदगी उसका चला जाता है.
Okay.
अगर उसको अंदर से एक भावना आती है कि अभी मैं बहुत सारे साल यहाँ पे गुजार चुका हूँ, मेरे को यहाँ से अभी आई वांट टू एक्सपीरियंस डिफरेंट सेट ऑफ क्रिएशन. लेट मी गो टू दिल्ली और लेट मी गो टू कलकत्ता एंड एक्सपीरियंस दैट. बट उसके लिए उसके पास एक्सेप्ट एफर्ट देयर इज नथिंग. लेकिन वो जो विवेक है, क्योंकि जैसा आपने बताया मन इतना चंचल है कि वो आपको दोनों तरफ से खींचेगा, तो उसके पास एक विवेक होना चाहिए कि हाँ भाई ये अभी, तो यहाँ पे मेरे पास एक विवेक होना चाहिए कि हाँ ये मैं अभी एक्सपीरियंस, आई एम थिंकिंग टू गुरु मंडला दैट यस आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस दिस एंड नाउ आई वांट टू क्लोज इट and I wish to go to this path and please help me in that because you have helped me to do this. Now I'm seeking your help because I as a person is hopelessly helpless when the creation is already set in, unless and until my powers are increased.
Right.
So everybody's power doesn't increase. So till then, how do I get the vivek and let go? जैसा तर्पण कर दिया, हाँ मेरे मिल गया, आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल. अच्छा हो बुरा हो जो भी हो, मेरे को मिल गया, आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल. एंड नाउ either I select or you guide me and select a new experience.
Right. So Janesh ji, in that space, that's where all our rituals, all our wisdom of the past, even in the form of all that has been written, in the form of Bhagavad Gita, in the form of Ramayana, in the form of Vedas. So those are what? They are also the guiding force that helps you to grow in that path. But as I said, let us not go into so tough places. I will just give you one solution for that. Okay. A very simple single solution. If you can agree to that, and you will see when I say that you will not have a way out, you will agree with that. I will not give you an option to run away from that place. Now let's say
that will be very good.
No, I'm saying it upfront. Because मैं जब ये बताऊंगा और उसका जब
very good.
जब मैं व्याख्या करूंगा, you cannot deny that. You will be in such a space. Now, when we were talking about like we are the Atman and we have decided to descend on this path and go through life like this, ऐसे लोग मिलेंगे, ऐसे परिस्थितियां होंगी, ऐसे विचार मिलेंगे, and all that what we are going through. But while being here, how can I ascend, not descend, ascend to greater heights of experiences? That's what your question is, right?
Yes. Yes.
So the very simplest of the thing is what you do every day in the morning, Aham Brahmasmi, realizing that you are God.
True.
Now, when you say I'm God, Aham Brahmasmi, there is a problem that each and every one of you face, and that's why you don't tell it. आप कहते नहीं हो. Because there are situations in life. I'm saying something, my son is not listening. How can I be God?
True.
True.
Absolutely true. Absolutely.
Then haven't you seen Devon Ke Dev Mahadev? Did Ganesh and Kartik always listen to Shiva?
No.
Then why are you worried?
No, I am not worried. I just
I'm
wanted
just
to.
giving, Janesh, I have used you as a platform. Okay, so don't
True.
run
Okay,
there.
I
Now
understand.
let me
I
answer
understand.
some
Now
people.
I understand.
So let me answer some people. But I'm not going there. I'm just saying, what do you think? If you are God, everybody should listen to you? No. If you are God, you should listen to your own self first, which we don't do. When I say
Absolutely.
listen to your own self, you all have a spiritual guide within yourself, but you don't listen to
True.
that. Now, if you are not listening to that within yourself, you know what it happens? It manifests itself in the form of another person in front of you. Because deep down within, there is a desire for you to realize that, but you are not listening to yourself. Then what does that do?
True.
See, the kindness of the Creator is so beautiful that it manifests that inner voice of yours in another form, which you called a guru.
True.
गुरु कोई और नहीं है, आपके अंदर के ही विचार है जो आपने नहीं सुना, आप नहीं सुन पाए अपने अंदर की आवाज, इसीलिए उसने एक शरीर रूप धारण करके आपके अंदर की आवाज को फिर से आपको सुना रहा है. एंड एज ही इज सेइंग इट अगेन and it is correlating with the same voice within you, you are able to connect with that, and at the same time you say yes, 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 what he's saying is right. How do you know what he's saying is right? Because he's not saying anything else, but he's only speaking your inner wisdom.
True.
That
Absolutely.
is the true form of a guru. A guru is not a person who should be kept on a pedestal. No, a guru is a person who is actually bringing out your own inner voice.
True.
So now let me help you with that, what you are not hearing within you. If
True.
you have made me sit here, so let me give you that also.
True.
So your inner voice, everyone sitting in the room, your inner voice, you know what it says? It knows it is God, but you don't agree to that because of the situation.
True.
Because of the situation, अरे आज तो मेरे पैर में दर्द है, I'm having a pain in the leg, how can I be God? मेरे सर में दर्द है, how can I be a God? That person is not listening to me, how can I be a God? My life is in trouble, how can I be a God? दाल जल गई,
True.
how can I be a God? My dear
Absolutely.
friends, you forgot one thing. You are acting as a human, but you are God. Then you said, how can you say that? I can say that very clearly with your inner voice. Let me tell you. Krishna became a human, but he was a God.
True.
Ram became a human, but he was a God. Parshuram became a human, but he was God. Buddha became a human, but still he was a God. What are you?
God.
मैंने कहा था ना, आप मना नहीं कर पाओगे मैं जब खत्म करूंगा. You
सही है.
cannot deny me. So here you have to remember one thing, Janesh, is you are here. You remember that I have chosen my play in this play. So let me play, but not forgetting who I am. If you don't forget, you become God. If you forget, you are a human. And you know what? All these avatars that you have seen, what does they indicate? They say, if you are a human, you are a God. Because you cannot be a human without a God.
True.
And anyways, you are built in that way. So now, when you are going out in the life, play, act like a human, be God. Just like all those people did. और उनकी क्या की जाती है? पूजा की जाती है. क्यों पूजा की जाती है? Why are they worshipped? Because despite in the human form, they remembered who they were. And you know who are humans? Those who keep on forgetting that they are gods. There is only difference. And then your mind comes into play and it says, you see, if you raise your finger and something raises there, then you are God. वो तो forklift वाला भी कर लेता है. He raises heavy objects with just one finger, one little, you just push this button and it goes up. Can't you see? You have already created all those things that you think God should be having. You have all that. You are walking on, you say you can walk on water. You see your ships, they are floating, not even walking. Much better than that. So what all you have not created in this world? Can you tell me? Look around yourself. Tell me one thing that God has created for you. God only created you and after that stopped creating, because he knew that he has manifested himself through you and you can create everything. That's why you have the power of recreation. And you know, there is a very typical term, recreation. Recreation has two meanings: to recreate and to enjoy. But you are recreating but not enjoying. That's the problem. You are recreating everything. The God has given you the powers. You have created the house, you have created a chair, you have created, somebody like you might have created it, but they forgot to enjoy that part. But when you are enjoying that part, you are also forgetting that you are the recreator. So both things together, you should remember that you are you have the power to recreate, and you should be in recreation. And that's why I say, no, I am on vacation. And Janeshji, the day I declared that, my life has become a vacation actually. I'm just moving around, enjoying the part. I say, why not take into this path? So don't forget who you are. And if you don't forget who you are, you will still watch the movie, but not become the movie. कोई कर्म बनेगा ही नहीं. Like 1,000 bullets shot in the movie doesn't affect the viewer until it has connected itself to the character in the movie. And what we are doing, we are not only connected to the characters, we have become the characters. Good. If you become a character, you will play a great role, but you will also suffer like the character. So stop doing that.
गुरुजी, पूरा प्रश्न उद्भव हुआ था दो ऑब्जर्वेशन से कि राम की अगर मैं जीवन गाथा देखता हूँ तो जो भी परिस्थिति है वहां पे उन्होंने उसको एक्सेप्ट किया, इवन दो ही वॉज वेरी सुपीरियर योद्धा, वेरी सुपीरियर ज्ञान, एवरीथिंग. तो वो हो गए मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम. जब कृष्ण जन्म लिया तो उन्होंने ना कोई वॉर इतनी बड़ी की, ना कुछ किया, और वो हो गए जगत गुरु. तो अगर ये दोनों के पास अपना खुद का एक विवेक, मे बी फ्रॉम द डे वन और एट लेटर डेट,
ओके,
और बुद्धा who developed the vivek at later date, when they went through it, तो राम भी चाहते तो परिस्थिति बदल कर सकते थे. तो उन्होंने एग्जाम्पल दिया कि भैया आप कोई परिस्थिति बदली मत करो, जो परिस्थिति है उसे एक्सेप्ट करो.
ओके.
कालांतर में उसकी व्याख्या बदली हो गई. तो फिर कृष्ण जन्म हो करके आए और बोला कि नहीं, परिस्थिति जो भी हो, आपने अपने अस्तित्व के लिए अपने अस्तित्व का एक परिधि एस्टैब्लिश करना है, और वो अस्तित्व को उसके अंदर स्वधर्म से रहना है. और उन्होंने उसी के लिए पूरा का पूरा जो भी मायाजाल है वो किया, चाहे वो उनके इंडिविजुअल इंसिडेंट हो या चाहे वो बड़ा इंसिडेंट विथ रेफरेंस टू महाभारत. Whereas Buddha, he ended up having a vivek at one particular point of time in his life. Till then, though, he was absolutely not aware कि क्या है, क्योंकि परिस्थिति ने उसको उनसे शील्ड किया था. जिस दिन पहली बार उन्होंने मृत्यु देखी, उससे उन्होंने सोच शुरू हुई और वो सोच ने प्रतिपादित करके उन्हें वहां लेके गया. तो आज की तारीख में अगर मैं समझूं तो मैं बुद्धा के टाइप के वातावरण में हूं कि जहाँ पे परिस्थिति ने मुझे आज की तारीख में अच्छा दिख किया है.
ओके.
जब तक मैं वो परिस्थिति में एक इंसिडेंट मेरे सामने नहीं आएगा, तब तक मैं प्रतिपादित होके उस मार्ग पे आगे नहीं बढ़ पाती, क्योंकि वो देखा ही नहीं है। मेरे वो परिस्थिति ने मुझे उससे शील्ड किया है, जैसा वो पिता ने उनको शील्ड किया था कि नहीं, इसको कोई भी दुख दिखाना ही नहीं है। हालांकि संभावना तो थी, और संभावना हम सब में है, क्योंकि क्रिएशन इज इक्वल। तो वो संभावना होने के बावजूद वो परिस्थिति में वो जो विवेक जागृत होता है, वो जो तृष्णा जागृत होती है, वो वो उन दोनों में तो फ्रॉम बर्थ, बिकॉज दे वर गॉड, दे वर एबल टू डू इट। इन बुद्धा देयर वाज एन एफर्ट टू बिकम गॉड, एंड दैट इज व्हाई ही इज बुद्धा, बिकॉज देयर वाज एन एफर्ट पुट बाय हिम as a human, and he set an example that if you put an example, you will become what I am. So my saying is, okay, that is very larger example, but सबसेट ये है कि अगर परिस्थिति ने तुमको शील्ड किया है, तो उसमें से अगर कहीं से भी कोई क्या बोलते बीज आता नहीं है, तो तुम विवेक और उसके उत्तीर्ण होके उसमें से दूसरी संभावना कैसे खड़ी करोगे?
See, Janesh ji, again, if you come back to yourself as a human, you don't have any other choice. You just to live like that. True. But when right now you see you are talking about so many things, how and from where did you get this even idea that this is possible? That means
is something
now,
inside me which
yes,
me.
So that means you have started accepting yourself in a very different dimension, because of which it is also saying that there is something bigger than this, what you have been living. So it is not that we don't have the wisdom. Look at our own body. You see, who taught you how to digest a food? Who taught you how to beat your heart? Who is given you the process of thinking? Any college, any university? So no. So that means there is already a power that is residing within me, which is me. But I always differentiate that there is a power within me, but I don't say that that power is me. And the moment you accept that the power is me, you are powerful. So in this life, see, there will be, as you said, there might be many things. But what I want to pass on is a very simple thing. Don't forget. Just be.
Perfect.
And then there will be a question. If Gautam Buddha, we all know he had two possibilities. Either he would have become a great king or a great sage. He chose to be a great sage. But can you tell me, if Gautam Buddha was a great king, would he have not been good?
He would have been.
So we are again seeing one part of life. I want you to look at the completeness of life. The completeness of life is, it is going through the world and yet not. And when I am saying this, Janeshji, especially on the session that we are coming up in the 10th, I'll try to give you that experience in that day, where you should realize that you are and you are not at the same time. You are sitting, but you realize that you are not there. And it is not an imagination. It's like you look at your body and you don't see it anymore. But you are looking, but the body is no more. And then at the same time, you look at something and you become that. It becomes you. You cannot differentiate. It's like melting away. So let's see how many people can go through that. But Haribhai, we have to restrict that, I believe. We'll choose it. We'll see. And this will be done on 10th, not 3rd, because many people have requested. So it is for 10th. So, but you people are making Haribai's life a little bit tough. But it's okay. He's ready for that.
बस वही तृष्णा है.
Okay. Thank you, Janesh. These questions will continue to appear. But as I said, remember, they were humans. They acted like humans, but they were gods. And whenever you question yourself whether I'm God or not, remember them. And then ask the same question that I asked you. Who am I? Act like human. Be God. Thank you, Janesh. Rajesh ji.
Rajesh ji, please unmute yourself.
प्रणाम गुरु जी.
प्रणाम राजेश जी.
गुरु जी, ये चक्रास के बारे में कुछ क्लासेस सेशन स्टार्ट हो गए तो अच्छा रहता गुरु.
ओके. चक्रास के बारे में सेशंस चाहिए?
हाँ गुरु जी.
How many of you want it? Only Rajesh ji, if he wants that, I will teach him separately. Okay. Chalo. At times, I think the chakras are also the chakra views, where people are stuck.
और एक गुरु जी, और एक रिक्वेस्ट है गुरु जी, वो अपना हवन के लिए कुछ प्रोसेस बोलेंगे बोल के गुरु जी.
हाँ, so that is pending. वो हो जाएगा, वो बता दूंगा. इसका अभी समय है थोड़ा. Every day.
Every day.
No, that is a small process. वो किसी दिन एक दिन बता दूंगा राजेश. Okay.
Thank you गुरु जी.
Thank you.
Thank you गुरु जी.
Rajesh ji. Yeah, Deepika garu, please unmute yourself.
Pranam Mahadev.
Pranam Deepika ji.
Actually, when Janesh ji asked the question, you said accepting that we are God is the most difficult thing people think, right? Probably it is because of the definition that everyone has for God. They may not be, we may not be able to accept that we are God because of a definition that we have in our mind for God, probably.
Yes. The
So
image,
if
the
you-
definition.
What, Mahadev?
The image, the definition.
Yes. So probably that restriction should go from mind, like this is God. God is something like restricted or something like that. So if there could be something which could elaborate, not elaborate, or probably which could simplify what he is.
That simplification process, Deepika ji, is called experience. When you experience, you remember what I said, Gautam Buddha was asking, okay, do you believe in God?
Yeah.
And if you believe in God, why
Yes.
are you searching?
Yeah.
It's just like that.
Hmm.
You are searching because you have just heard of it. Somebody told you a story, you said, oh wow, story is good. But you cannot get wet with the word water. पानी का अगर आप spelling जानते हो, you will not get wet out of it. You have to experience water. But what does the meaning of that is? The meaning of that is there is something called as water. What can make you wet? आपको गीला करने की शक्ति है, उसमें वो पानी है. तो इसलिए पहले क्या जानना है? There is something called as water. So you should know the name of God first. Then you should know the form of God. Then you should experience that. It's just like in your childhood, somebody said, you know, from the sky, it's going to rain. But you have never seen rain. You say, huh? How can it come? Has the God put a tap on the sky or what? But you don't realize that. You said, then you don't believe it. Then one fine day, you see it is raining. You don't call it a shower anymore. You call it a rain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you dance and you get wet. And then after that, can anybody come to you and say that, you know, from the sky there water will fall, but this is all false? You won't agree to that. Why? Because it is your experience right now. That's what I say. The day you drench yourself in divinity, you bathe in divinity, you drown in divinity, you swim in divinity, no one can move you from that place. Can you move me from my place saying that
No.
You cannot. That's why I always say, Nadi, because you tell me 1,000 things that you are not God, and I will tell you 1,00,000 things that you are.
That's what Mahadev, like, even now you are saying that I'm sorry, you are saying that we are God, like, so it's not in our experience. So when you say accept it, like, it becomes little difficult probably because we haven't experienced it.
Yes.
And we want to experience that. So will the retreat help us?
So very good. Let us take Deepika ji home. So Deepika ji, who is having a problem?
No, Mahadev, for a discussion, I totally understand. To actually, as a part of discussion, I can always accept. But when
That's what I said. First of all, you should know the name, then you should know the form, and after that, when it rains, you will accept it. So all this is preparation part. If you don't know, just see what would have happened to the person who first time experienced rain and didn't knew anything about it.
Yes.
He would be panicked.
Yeah, true.
What is happening? Why this? You know the story. The sky broke.
No.
You don't know the story? Okay.
No.
So
maybe I heard it. I don't know the name.
The sky is falling is the story. One day, one rabbit started running. And everybody says, "What? Why are you running?" Screaming, running. He said, "The sky is falling, the sky is falling." Then listening to that, few others also started running. Everybody is running, and he said, "Why you are running?" They are also saying, "The sky is falling, the sky is falling." And like that, every animal in the forest started running. "Where are you running?" "Sky is falling, sky is falling." So everybody ran. Finally, they came to the tiger, the lion, the king. He said, "What happened? Where are you going? Why are you running everywhere?" He said, "The sky is falling, the sky is falling." He said, "Who said?" And everybody pointed out to the rabbit. So he said, "No, have you seen the sky falling?" "No, we have not seen the sky falling." "Then who did?" "That rabbit did." Then they called the rabbit, come here." He said, "What? How did you know the sky was falling?" "No, I was happily sleeping under a coconut tree and the sky fell on my head." The lion said, "Let's go and see where the sky has fallen." And they took him there. And what they found? A coconut. It hit his head and it thought the sky has fallen. And it has created a panic for everyone. The sky is falling. And everybody is running without even realizing, until you come to that space where he asks you, where you question yourself. Just right now, what you are doing, Deepika ji. Can you see your positioning in life? Earlier, you didn't even, just you were doing puja, you were doing sadhana, whatever you were doing mantra japs and all those things. But now, can you see what you are doing? You are even questioning your own existence. You are questioning the existence of God. This is where you will find the truth. Can you see your evolution? Other people, they fear God. You are questioning God. And you are not questioning to prove it wrong. You are questioning to prove yourself right. Yes or no? So please unmute yourself, Deepika ji.
Yes, Mahadev. Like,
so what
it's
is the
not about
now?
questioning. I'm not trying to question. I want to understand and I want to become.
So when you say that you are ready for that, even the process begins. So most probably you'll get a glimpse this 10th. You have not sat with me.
I mean, yes,
you have not yet sat with me in my personal, right?
No,
in front of
no.
me yet.
Yeah, I have never been in interaction with you in person. Yeah. So probably on the retreat on 10th, maybe.
It is not a retreat. Retreat is for other things. This is just a pure meditation.
Meditation.
Throughout the day.
Meditation session. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Mahadev. That's what.
But that itself is, you have sat with me for 15 minutes meditation, 30 minutes meditation, 55 minutes meditation, 1 hour meditation. But not a complete full-fledged 7 hours of meditation. So be ready. Might be you will get drenched. Your questionings will vanish, because when you go to that process, you go through that process, it becomes so blatantly clear in front of you that you don't have any further questions to ask. But it will only happen to you if you are ready to surrender unconditionally. Might be you people would be the first one to experience it, and then you will not ask. You will tell other people, hey, you don't know.
We will tell
Sit.
them. Yes.
You just sit and listen what he says, because what he says, he does. Because we are not here to speak only. Words are only used, Deepika ji, so that it indicates something. But you might have seen many people. Now, do we have Deepak around? Okay. So yesterday he sent me a message, Haribhai. I'm not sure if he is around. If he is, he should share it.
He is not there, Manager.
Not there, but he signed up, because उसका नाम वो दीपक नहीं रखता है, गुरुजी का शिष्य रखता है वो.
Yeah, he's there.
He's there. देखो, yeah. I am Deepak, you see. So Deepak, can you unmute yourself and share what you experienced yesterday?
हम ब्रह्मास्मि गुरुजी.
वाह, फुल फोर्स के साथ कह रहा है हम ब्रह्मास्मि. हाँ, गुड.
Yes.
What was your experience yesterday?
कल मुझे शायद नाइट में बटुक जी ने दर्शन दिए थे, एक छोटे से शैडो में.
और उसके बाद आपको क्या हुआ?
डर भी लगा थोड़ा.
हाँ,
थोड़ा डर भी लगा और थोड़ा अच्छा भी लगा.
So you see, he experienced Batuk Bhairav for the first time after so many days of his chanting. No one is there, but there is a shadow. Okay, and the shadow is just like Batuk Bhairav. The first and foremost thing that happened to him is he's scared. But then he realized that who can look like this? And then he calmed down. But now after experiencing this, Deepak, can you deny that that mantra doesn't work?
Work, sir. 100% work कर रहा है वो तो.
Can you deny there is that entity as Batuk Bhairav doesn't exist? सब आके बोले तो मान लोगे क्या? If everybody comes and tells that no, there is no Batuk Bhairav.
मैं मान लो.
आप उल्टा उनको ये बोलोगे, चुप बैठो, मैंने देखा है.
उनको नहीं मान.
Is it not? So that's how it is.
हाँ.
So मैं भी वही कह रहा हूँ, जो मुझे सवाल पूछ रहे हो ना, भगवान कैसे माने अपने आप को, मैं भी वही बोलता हूँ, चुप बैठो. You sit down and you will experience. So be ready.
ये मुझे ऐसा नहीं गुरुजी.
क्या है?
मुझे बेड पे भी मारे 2-3 बार. उसे इससे पहले भी शेयर करा था मैं. बेड पे मैं जब सो गया था, जब कॉर्नर पे साइड में आया तो मुझे मार के बाजू देख लेते कहाँ गिर जाता नीचे बोल के. वो भी हुआ था. मंत्र करते टाइम पे कुछ गिरा देते नीचे से, ऊपर से नीचे गिरा देते कुछ तो.
So you are filled with experiences.
Yes. Thank you, Gurudev. आप मंत्र देने के लिए हमारे लिए.
That's why I said no. You don't do any mantra, but you never leave Batuk Bhairav, because he is like living being with you. From the smallest of the smallest things to the greatest of the greatest things, he will take care of. So don't leave that. And we have enough experiences, we have enough proofs now that it works. Absolutely, Aparaji, right words. He catches like a mother cat. So, but Haribhai, you decide how many people we can have for the 10th. That's my question. Because I need enough space. And I also need a specific space where nobody stops me from what I want to do. Then only you will experience what you want to experience. We remember Haribhai on like when we were doing this Dhanakarshan Bhairav.
Yes, Maharaj.
That day also, the moment I was taking into that space, I had to restrict myself.
Yes.
So that restriction has to be, you give me free flow and you will experience what you want to experience.
We'll make sure, Maharaj. We'll make sure.
So make it, if it is a closed room, I am happy with that, no problem with that. And enough space, because I'm telling you upfront, many will fall on that day. You will not know what happened to you. You will directly fall. And that falling will become your rising. You fall like a human. You wake up like a god. I told the same thing during this Dhanakarshan Bhairav, but some people experienced that, some didn't, because I was not given the free flow. You allow me, and then you might also have a glimpse of who I am, not only who you are. Okay. So thank you, Deepika ji. But just few more days and you might just experience your answer, not get your answer. Experience your answer. Dhaval ji.
Yeah, Dhaval ji, please unmute yourself.
Pranam.
Pranam, Dhaval ji.
Couple of things just came up, which I'll say in a one go, and then you can answer as per your own wish or priority. One is, as this discussion is going on, feeling and believing and realizing we are God. So sometimes few incidents or activities or the kind of behavior, we assume that it cannot be accepted, or we have defined certain benchmark being a god, and if we deviate from that, we feel that we have dropped down to that level. That is one. Second, many a times I feel attracted to watch some of the sons' life stories or some of the spiritual things, and the time simply flies. I don't see or resist myself to stopping that. Yesterday itself, I was watching Telang Swami's Jivni, and I even felt it amazing, even cried a bit. So that is second, why it happens. Third, I once drawn in Varanasi or Kashi decades back, and somebody saved me by giving hands. I can't interpret what was the reason and why it happened and what can be my purpose. And the fourth, I'm teaching one client, and he is chartered accountant himself. And sometimes last time after my session, I realized that he was having some issues in his life. And when I coached him, I felt it, so does it happen that those vibes reverse back on us as well in an other way around? So these are the couple of things. Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you. So like questions from all dimensions. So first of all, you started like, if we are God and when certain situation happens and we degrade ourselves, or we think we have degraded ourselves, then how can we be God? And then in that moment, I doubt myself. The second is you are drawn towards the life of great sages. And recently you saw Tailang Swami. And if you read about Tailang Swami, you know what he did on Shivling, which even you cannot think of. Third, you are drowning and somebody pulled you out of that. You don't know what the purpose of life is. Fourth, you are helping someone, and when you are helping someone, is it going to affect you? So these are the 4 questions. Okay. So where do you start? Let's start from the back. जहां से अंत हुआ वहीं से आरंभ करते हैं. So you said helping others, like helping others in the form of what? If you are just giving an idea to them, it won't bother you. But if you are especially doing healing and you don't know how to wipe yourself off that, you will carry it. But I don't think you are doing a healing process. So you need not worry about that. Giving an idea, giving intention, giving a clarity, it doesn't come back in that way. So that is done. Okay. And you were pulled out of the water while you are drowning. That means God wants you to live. He has some plans for you. You have to be here. But while being here, make your stay worthwhile. अगर आप यहाँ हो तो उसका कोई मतलब होना चाहिए. And you say, I don't know what my purpose of life is. Then create your purpose of life. Choose some good qualities, make it your purpose. So if you are breathing, you should be happy. The God still has work to be done through you. So that itself should be a celebration. Means even the God requires you. That itself should become celebration. If you are not believing yourself to be gods, at least you know that God cannot be without you, so he's still keeping you alive. So be happy for that. And then going back to Tailang Swami and your traction, I'll not only say attraction, I will say traction towards all such sagely beings. Iron get attracts towards magnets. Woods don't. What does that mean? The iron gets attracted towards the magnet because the magnet itself is an iron with a quality of attraction. And you being the same like the magnet, you are attracted towards it because you see yourself in him, and at the same time, it has something more powerful than that which you can become. And why does the magnet attract the iron? Because the magnet knows the iron can become me. So you, when you say that you are attracted towards them, is it really you attracting towards them, or it is attracting you towards itself? And if the magnet is attracting the iron, then the iron should be lucky enough if they are attracting you, because you cannot attract them. The iron cannot attract a magnet. A magnet attracts iron. But when it is in the close proximity, and I believe you are in the close proximity, so they are pulling you. And if they are pulling you, if you stay with them for long enough, you will become one. So that's your answer. Then coming to the first one. At times when you don't do this, you don't do that, then you again categorize yourself as human, not as gods. Right? Who gave you that definition? You know why those definitions have been given? So that you don't become immoral. There is a difference between becoming immoral, degrading yourself, or just deviating. Deviation is a part. Can you tell me, you are driving on the road and somebody is coming in front and you will not deviate a little bit to let them go? That's deviation. But if you stick there, no, by rule, it has to go on his way. I will stand here only. You might be run over. So deviation is something that you do by choice, not out of ignorance. So deviation is okay, but degrading yourself is not the way. So when we are talking about being God, I will close it with one story which will answer all your queries, Dhavalji. Okay. Now, the question, why we all get that I am in this world and all these things are happening to me, and at times I am degrading myself. So how can I be God? Right? Okay. Then what do you think? If you leave everything and go to the Himalayas, will you be better? Might be, might not be. And many a people, Rajanji, I have seen people speak that मैं तो गृहस्थ हूं, मैं तो पापी हूं. How can I achieve God? And then, Dhavalji, we are attracted to certain people, we are distracted for certain people. Why is it so? So this story that I'm going to tell is a typical story of a sage and a king. There was a young king, and that young king, one day he thought like, who is greater? A person who has renunciated everything, or a person who is a family person? इसमें से बड़ा कौन? And you see, in this case, both your answers will come. So when this young king thought one day, who is greater? He called upon people to prove who is greater. So all the sages who came, they all talked about that, ye sansarik log bekar hai. They are of no use. They are still lost in Maya. They did their part. And when the Sansarik people came, they had their own logic to tell. He said, they don't do anything if we are working and we are feeding them. If we are not there, how will they live? So there was a fight. Logical tark hua. Now king is king. He said, you are confusing me. You both don't know anything. Put everyone into jail. Throw everyone into the cell because they have confused me. They are only telling where they are standing. वो सिर्फ उसी की बात कर रहे जहां पे वो हैं. If they are in the family, they are saying family is good. If they are in the renunciate, they are saying renunciation is good. So they are not true. Throw them away into the dungeons. King is king, throne. Now the king declares that whoever gives me the right answer, I am going to give a bountiful of wealth. Many people came, the same thing happened. They were also thrown into the dungeons. Finally, one sage was going. Because that day the king called his ministers and said, if you are not going to find me the right answers, I threw them into the dungeons, but your heads will not be there on your neck. Because now he was already frustrated with the answers that he were getting. And finally, to their luck, a sage came and he said, I'm going to give you the answer, but you have to travel with me. This king said, is it true that you are going to give me the answer? And if not, then your head will be rolled. Then the sage said, you have to walk with me, then only we'll understand what the answer is. And he takes it. The king says, okay, fine with this. I'm okay to go and learn the answer. He starts walking with him. The sage takes him to deep forest. And when in the deep forest, They have been walking. Because the sage said to the prince, the king, that you cannot go on a horse or a chariot, you have to walk along with me. Walked throughout the day and it's almost evening. And the sage said, now we have to rest here in the forest. The king is worried, how can I sleep on this barren land? I've always slept on the best of the best mattresses. So how can I sleep here? And at the same time, he's hungry. What should I eat? And all those stuff goes on. Then the sage takes him to a particular tree and he says, sit here and we have to rest here only. We don't have a choice. We cannot surpass this jungle in the night. Now the king says, but what about the food? From where am I going to get the food? The sage said, you do one thing, create a furnace kind of thing. Pehle ek chula bana le. With some stones and rocks, you build a furnace. I said, okay, then what? He says, collect some sticks, dry sticks. So he collected the dry sticks. Now he says, from where am I going to get the fire? The sage said, it will be arranged. Now, who is going to arrange the fire in the forest? What happened is, the place where they were sitting, there was a family of birds on the same tree. And both the birds, the husband and wife that you can call them, and they had kids, they were listening to the talk of the things that is going on down. And they realized that they need fire. And then they both spoke that these people have come to our home and are sitting under our home. So it is our responsibility to take care of them. क्योंकि वो अतिथि बन के मेरे घर के सामने आए हैं, तो उनका देखभाल करना हमारा काम है. Then what did they do? The husband, the bird, the male bird, he said, let me go and find fire somewhere and I will bring and put it there so that it will help them. And he goes, flies, finds a fireplace, takes a burning fire, comes back and drops it there. The king is happy. Oh, so we got fire. We got fire, but what are we going to eat? I am too hungry. The sage said, that will also be taken care of. But now I am going to meditate. You just wait. And the king is in full hunger right now, too hungry to sit. Now, then these two birds who were sitting on the branch, they said, the king is hungry. Hamara atiti jo hai wo bhooka hai. The person who has arrived at my doors is hungry. What should we do? How can we feed him? We don't have anything. But the king kept on crying, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. So finally, you know what these two birds did? They said, see, this is very typical now. I don't know how you can digest it or not. But let's go ahead anyways. Then they both decided that the kid that we have, let us give that as food to them, to the king. First of all, they were reluctant. But finally they said that if the person who has arrived at my doors, we cannot let him go hungry. So what they did, they pushed the baby. The baby fell into the fire, burnt, got roasted. The king enjoyed the food, but still kept on crying, I'm still hungry, I'm still hungry, I'm still hungry. Now, this male and female bird, they are still talking like, he's still hungry, what should I do? Then the male bird says, let me fall and become the food for him. But the female said, how can you go like that? I am your wife. How can I allow you? Let me go first. Then the male said, then what is the work of me if I am not able to safeguard you when I am alive? So they were doing this talk. Each and everyone is saying, I should go first, I should go first. Then they decided, let us both fall together so that his hunger is satiated. And they both fell into that fire. The king enjoyed the meal, never knowing from where it came from. But it was all the Maya created by the sage. And now the sage opens his eyes and turns around him. And the king doesn't say what he has eaten. The sage said, are you feeling hungry anymore? He said, no. Have you eaten anything? No, I have not eaten anything. You see, at times you hide, you eat non-veg, right? He said, no, I have not eaten it. Okay, good. Then morning, he takes the prince to another place, a new kingdom where it was about a day where the marriage of the princess is settled. Swayamvar. So he takes him there, but there is one condition. The condition is, which the prince doesn't know, and the king doesn't know, that whoever wants to marry the princess, he has to sit in boiling oil. जो गरम तेल में बैठ के बाहर निकल जाएगा, उसकी शादी प्रिंसेस के साथ होगी. Who can survive through the boiling oil. This king doesn't know, but he goes, and when he sees the princess, she is so beautiful. By looking at it, he says, I want to marry this girl. Then the sage said, if you want to, then go ahead and declare. And the king, without knowing the condition that he has to sit in boiling oil, he said, yes, I am going to do anything that is required, but I will marry this girl. Very good. Other people, those who knew the condition, they were not coming out. Then the princess father, the king of that place, he says, okay, come on, fulfill the criteria. Then you can marry my daughter. He says, yeah, what is the criteria? He said, you have to sit in the boiling oil. Now, what would you choose? You will choose the princess? Or you will choose not to sit in the boiling oil? Obviously, Ashwinji, he chose, he said, if I am alive, then I can get many princes. But at the same time, the sage said, but you have given a word and you cannot back it off from now. Now the king says, then what's the way out then? He said, the only way is, now you declare one more thing. Ask the king, the prince's father, that instead of me, the sage will sit in the boiling oil. And if he survives, you have to give your daughter to me. He is ready to sit on my behalf. The king says, okay, done. And the sage has his own siddhi, so he boiling oil were brought and the sage sat into that. He said, it's too cool. Bring more a little bit heater one, like boiling one, right? And that was also bought, and still nothing happened to him. And finally, what happens? The criteria was made. The girl, the princess married the king, and everything was happy. And the king was returning back without even realizing his question. Then the sage said, are you missing something? He said, no, I got married and I have my bride with me, princess, not only bride, my pride with me. So I'm going home. So then the sage said, but you came here for a reason, na? You remember, Dhavalji, you are filled with pride with your bride in this world, but you forgot why you came for. And everything happened in front of you. You still forgot that. But the sage is reminding why you came here. It's all good. You married, everything all good. But why you came here? He said, oh, yes. Now I remember. You never answered my question. He said, all the way I have been answering your question only. He said, how? Now your question was, who was greater? A renunciate, a sage, or a person who is in a family? Kaun bada? And now he said, do you remember when you were sitting under the tree? He said, yes. And do you remember where you were hungry at that time? He said, yes. And after that, what you ate, do you remember? Now he's quiet. The sage says, I know what you ate. But let me tell you what happened there. There was a family of birds. It provided you food, it provided you fire, it provided you shelter. And when even you were hungry, they gave their own lives because they understood one thing: their dharma. Dharma is not religion. Dharma is what you are. What that means? It means if somebody has come to me, my dharma is to give it the best, whatever I can. उसने अपना धर्म निभाया और वो धर्म को निभाते निभाते चले गए. While taking care of the dharma, they even lost their life. But what do you think? Who lives his life on dharma? Will they lose their life or they will elevate their life? They will elevate their life. And when we were there, when you were about to get married, but you were not ready to sit in the boiling oil, but I went there and sat. What do you think? What did I do for you? He said, the most dangerous thing. He said, I was doing my dharma. So it doesn't matter whether you are a sage, renunciate, or a person living in the world. All that determines your greatness is your dharma. If you are walking on the path of dharma, you can elevate your life because throughout your life, you lived on the path of dharma. So, Dhavalji, can you see, actually, you asked me why you were saved. It has an answer. Somebody was doing his dharma. You were saved. Now your question was, what is the purpose of my life? Your purpose of your life is doing dharma, living on your dharma. Then your question is, why am I always attracted to those kind of people? Because those people will show you your dharma. And when you are helping somebody, will you get into trouble? You might, but you will elevate your life. Because you are walking on the path of your dharma. And as I said, dharma is not religion. Dharma is you. Did I answer all the questions? I believe I did. So, Dhavalji.
Thank you and pranam for such a great clarity.
So who is great? It's not the greatness of a renunciate or a person living in this world. All the greatness comes from when you live out of your dharma. And your karma is aligned to that. Then for sure, you know that you are going to elevate. Isliye, what you have to do now? Follow your dharma.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hariji.
Now, Hari Bhai will ask me, Bhai, kahan se leke aate ho stories? That whatever question is asked, you give a story that has all the ingredients of the questions in it.
Yes, very true, Maharaj. Very true.
So, did I know that Dhavalji is going to ask me that question? Yes. That's why I prepare stories. How do I do that? Because I am doing my dharma. And people ask me, how can we thank you? You need not, because मैं अपना कार्य कर रहा हूं. It's not because of somebody. I am just doing because what I am. मैं अपना धर्म निभा रहा हूं. आप अपना निभा लो. It would be enough. Okay. So thank you. And we are on time. Because so I believe we have told, कुछ नहीं बोलते बोलते we have already told 4 stories today. Amazing. So thank you everyone for joining us. And as we will be traveling for the next 2 days to Saroja ji's and family function. So most probably this Sunday and Saturday we will not be there, but we'll meet you on Wednesday again with few more questions, few more stories, few more clarifications, but come with some interesting questions. Because it's not my answers that make it interesting. It's your questions that makes it interesting. Because this is how there is a song, Siva Guruji, it says, this is how a superhero learns to fly. So with these small little feathers attached to you one by one, one by one, one by one day you will have a full-fledged wing, and then you will fly off on the wings of spirituality, on the wings of dharma, on the wings of realizing who you truly are. And I look forward to that day, to see you flying with great colors. And on that day, I will realize that yes, all that we did was worthwhile. Me sitting in the frying oil pan, or you dropping yourself to help someone. See, let's become an example for the world. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you everyone for listening so patiently. I don't know whether it makes sense to you or not, but you make sense to this. I might be senseless at times, but you bring all the sense to this. So thank you for being here. See you soon. Till then, follow your dharma. Act like a human, but be God. So thank you so much. Till we meet again, may you become the blessing to the world. May the light of divinity shine through you always. May by looking at you, people realize their purpose of life. May they all realize their dharma. Aham Brahmasmi. Thank you. Thank you so much.